Josh Allen been one of the top quarterbacks moving around. As a matter of fact, we talk about him on UCSS more than we talk about our own quarterbacks. And guess what? He didn't get it done. You still had turnovers. You're still throwing the ball backwards. You're still doing a bunch of different stuff. And guess what? There was no Mahomes. There was no Burrow. There was no Lamar Jackson. All you had to do was get it done. And you didn't get it done. But you know what? It's not because Josh Allen ain't a franchise quarterback. It's because you know what, guys? It takes more than a franchise quarterback to win games, turns out. Turns out that you need receivers. Turns out that you need a running game. Turns out that you probably need your defense to step up. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's get to it. Yeah, Josh Allen, you was crying, bro. But Josh Allen threw 2 picks, fumbled 3 times, loses 2, and the world mourns his heartbreak. But if Lamar Jackson threw them interceptions and fumbles, once he was, all of a sudden he's a choke artist. Did I get the narrative right? See, the narrative has been that even if you have Josh Allen and he's on your team, you're automatically going to the Super Bowl. But the crazy part about it is he can't even get the team that he's on to the Super Bowl. If Josh Allen was on the Browns roster, they would be doing X, Y, and Z. Oh, really? Oh, really? Because it's funny how you got to produce, and it's funny how Josh Allen, it's not a vacuum. You still looking for these heroes, and the heroes that you putting up here ain't getting it done. Again, you got to put your own work in around here, homie. You know what these playoffs done taught you? Stop looking at fantasy football. Stop running around here worshiping quarterbacks. Develop your quarterback. And while you're developing your quarterback, you better do it all you can do to get your rest of your team together. Stop telling these folks out here in these streets that linemen don't count. Stop telling them you could get a bottom-of-the-barrel receiver and it's all good. All you need is the quarterback. All you need is the savior. All you need is the guy behind center and everything will be okay. No, that's not the way it works, dog. Turns out you might need a little more than that. Turns out you might want to get it takes a little luck, a little health, and a good roster all the way around. Let's keep talking about it. I saw this. I saw it. I seen the good Lord giveth and the good Lord taketh away. Turns out that when you're playing in the playoffs, it's tough to win. You see, Caleb Williams made a crazy throw on 4th down, running backwards. Can you believe he ran backwards? It's funny. He was running. We don't like people who run backwards, but he ran backwards and found a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone on one of the greatest throws and greatest miraculous 4th down plays I've seen in a long time. But he came right back in overtime and threw the pick that eventually cost him the game. You see, you realize narratives is a funny way of thinking about things. Caleb Williams in 2024, 62%, 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Come to 2025, 57%, 3,400 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks. Saying he played hero ball in 2024, but is not doing it in 2025 is lazy analysis. The reason he's playing better is simple. Run game, improve offensive line, 3rd down efficiency, 68 versus 23 sacks. You see, we've always boiled it down to these catchphrases. Hero ball, doing too much, taking too many sacks. No, it's called lazy analysis. And we are rampant with it in the industry. We use catchphrases and buzz phrases to simplify things that don't need to be simplified or you can't simplify. Caleb Williams was putting up the same amount of statistics on the eye test. 62, 3,500 yards, 3,400 yards. It's comparable. But the reality of the situation is the reason why Caleb Williams is playing much better this year and got his team a step away from going for the NFC Championship game is the run game, the improved offensive line, and the efficiency. Let's stop boiling everything down to the lowest common denominator and dumbing this thing down. Football is a very complex sport. And guess what? Caleb Williams was playing very well against the Rams, was playing well. But guess what? He still had turnovers when turnovers hurt you. And by the way, turnovers are part of the game. I saw Drake May have turnovers. He put the ball on the turf multiple times. Turnovers are part of the game. You can, just because you got a franchise quarterback does not mean your quarterback doesn't turn the football over. And just because you got a good quarterback doesn't mean he's not going to make mistakes. And just because you got a good quarterback does not mean that you can neglect the rest of the team and put all of it on his shoulders. Speaking of turnovers, what about this? C.J. Stroud. A rough day at the office for C.J. Stroud. 20 of 47, 4 interceptions versus the Patriots. In this game, he looked lost, looked confused, looked bewildered at times. But there's a combinations of a lot of things going on. Let's talk about it. The combinations of a lot of things are, yeah, the weather was bad, but guess what? He also was making some really crazy throws. He wasn't perfect in this game. Matter of fact, it's one of the worst games I've seen him play. But you also have to take in consideration that he had all of his targets out. Even Dalton Schultz was the next best guy up. He went out of the football game. The rookie running back put the football on the turf. The defense kept giving them the ball back, but they kept turning it back over. See, it turns out sometimes that, it's a combination of things. C.J. Stroud, since he's been in the league, has always given, guess what? He's gotten a minimum of 12 wins. His team has gotten a playoff victory in the wild card each year that they've been there. Would Cleveland Browns fans be ecstatic with that? Sure they would, because we ain't been to the playoffs and got a win in years, and we ain't won a division since 89. But it's funny, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. See, it turns out Texans fans are going crazy right now talking about, it's C.J. Stroud, ain't it? We need another quarterback. Well, guys, for all you laymen out there, for all the dudes that never put their hand in the dirt, for all the guys who never ran gassers, got tackled, got hit, had to get up and lift the weights in the morning, or take a heartbreaking loss in the playoffs. Newsflash, the NFL is the hardest league to play in. I know that you play fantasy, and I know that you got your leagues, and you talk at the water cooler about how this guy's a top 5 franchise. Listen, all that go out the window when you're in the playoffs. It's 2 teams that's really good. You better have some health, some luck, a good team, coaching, players, management. You better have it all if you want to win a championship. So you should probably stop reducing it down to, it's the quarterback. And if you have that, you have everything. No, you don't. I just told you about a quarterback in Joe Burrow who didn't make the playoffs. I just told you about Lamar Jackson that didn't make no playoffs. I just told you about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin that always make the playoffs. He got fired. I told you a guy in Josh Allen who everything was open for you. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no. Turns out you still need to perform, and it's still difficult. I'm just continue to roll on. And guess what, guys? Even when you do ball out, even when you win a Super Bowl, turns out that some people still aren't satisfied. There's a sense inside the Eagles locker room that Nick Sirianni, Howie Roseman, and Jeffrey Lurie are reluctant to criticize Jalen Hurts despite being the source of much internal frustration from teammates. It's funny that he's been to a Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl just a couple years ago, was in the playoffs this year, and guys are ticked off and upset. I don't know what their expectation level is. Yeah, Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, but so is a lot of these other quarterbacks. Turns out that you don't just get to go to the Super Bowl every year. Everybody needs to do their part. Everybody needs to contribute. The quarterback has to play, but you got to block. The receivers got to catch the ball, A.J. Brown. And Nick Sirianni, you can't be going around spazzing out on the sidelines every 5 minutes. Sometimes you got to be an adult, fam. So when I'm looking at this situation, the conversation that we talk about with the Cleveland Browns is this. We got to start elevating the way we talk about the game of football, and we got to start talking about it in a way that is actually professional, thoughtful, and actually breaking it down to what it is. Because this playoff season has told you that just because you get to a certain position, it guarantees you nothing. And that if you're running around here talking about quarterbacks 24 hours a day, this playoff should show you that you're losing your mind. Because if you got a good quarterback, that's great. But if you ain't got no blocking, no tackling, no coaching, no return game, no kicking field goals, no discipline, no skills, No, like if you ain't got it all together, you ain't got a chance. A quarterback gets you in a conversation, but that's it. And conversations don't win championships. So here's what we need to do as Browns. How does it apply for the Browns? Well, listen, first of all, stop running around having every conversation about Josh Allen. Turns out Josh Allen can play bad and get his coach fired just like we can. Stop talking about if we had this quarterback, what would our theoretical win rate be? It's ridiculous. You got to put your own work in around here, homie. And by the way, just because you think from here, looking afar, that the grass is greener, wake up. Bills job, fired. Ravens job, fired. Pittsburgh Steelers, fired. These are pillar organizations. You talked about how much of a dumpster fire it is in Cleveland, but guess what? The Browns had to get a new head coach, and so did all those other organizations. All the names that you mentioned, that you rub their shoulders and how great they are, the Giants, all these teams with these great jobs, guess what? Their coaches are getting fired just like yours. Are their owners dumpster fires? They got quarterbacks. They got skill team. But at a certain point in time, if you don't get it done, it stands for not for long. So that same energy you got for all these other organizations, you might want to get the memo. Get the memo, fellas. You can have a good coach, a good quarterback, a franchise quarterback, and you still may never put the trophy up. So I think all the fantasy football talk about quarterbacks and what they is and how they is, I think y'all need to reinvest and understand what the game of football is about. Because it's not boring, because it don't get no clicks, because it ain't really going to get you excited, don't mean it's not important. I think you should put your head down and figure out how you go about getting you some linemen and some receivers and developing your quarterback. Because if you don't develop, you'll be just like these other teams. Yeah, Brock Purdy, you look nice during the regular season, but when it got down to the nitty-gritty, Brock Purdy didn't have nobody out there. Kittle wasn't out there. He ain't had no people parts, and Brock Purdy can't do it by himself. And the defense was getting smoked. So there you go. Are you going to fire Shanahan? What are you going to do? No. Be patient. Put your own work in. Put your head back down, and let's get to work.